Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, he's a former Navy SEAL, he's a retired astronaut, and now he's the CEO of the National Medal of Honor Museum. His incredible journey, just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I like to think I have a pretty cool company, but my next guest is putting us into outer space in terms of the cool factor. Chris Cassidy is in the studio. He's a retired Navy SEAL. He's a former astronaut. He's my friend. He is the CEO of the National Medal of Honor Museum. Thanks for coming on the show.
Jeff, my pleasure. Glad to be with you.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to get into your bio in a minute, but I want you're here to talk about this incredible museum. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, so we're so excited and honored to be delivering this museum to the nation. It's the National Medal of Honor Museum. Happens to be here in the Dallas-Fort Metroplex, right in the middle in Arlington, Texas, nestled amongst the AT&T Stadium, Globe Life Field. But that museum will be the vault of stories of courage, sacrifice, patriotism, an amazing place where you're going to learn about people. Ordinary people like you and me that did something extraordinary when the nation needed them to do that. And it's not going to be a place where you're going to learn military history, see tanks and airplanes. You can go to other great places to see that. This is where we're going to transfer that knowledge of heroes to the visitors, and then hopefully the visitors, the patrons, can then take little bits of nuggets from those and understand, hey, I'm not going to necessarily be on the battlefield, but all of us in life have tough times where you got to get through with the people that you love and help the people that you love get through their hard times. And all of those situations require courage and commitment to each other, and that's what we aim to highlight.
We're going to pull up the website, and so we scrolled on the website. I was shocked that it's really kind of an elite club. 3,500 Medal of Honors have been given away since the Civil War, since it started.
Right, yeah. So the Medal of Honor is our nation's highest award for valor on the battlefield. It's been around since the Civil War, as you mentioned. President Lincoln put it into existence in 1861, the first award of it in 1863. And since then, there's been 3,520 about. There had been a few recently, so ever. And now there are just 60 recipients living today. So that's really our why, our motivation to get this thing built and delivered and open. So every single one of those 60 can walk through the doors with us in 8 months in March of next year. This calendar year, we've lost 4 already, so it's important to us.
And to put that into perspective, according to your website, in the last 163 years, 40 million people have served in our military. So to have just over 3,500 get this Medal of Honor, it just shows, how elite it is.
Very, very, very rare award, and in the Civil War, it was the only award for merit or valor. Nowadays, in present days, there's different levels of awards. You can, from a Service Cross to Commendation Medals and all the way up to the Medal of Honor. So it's even more rare these days.
Outstanding. Okay, we're going to hear more from Chris in a minute. We found his sizzle reel. Let's go ahead and roll that.
In both of my careers, as an astronaut and as a Navy SEAL, this sense of planning for a risky mission, accomplishing that mission, but also weighing in safety, risk mitigation, and adapting and kind of thinking on your feet is the crux of being an astronaut. And the saying in the military is the enemy gets a vote, And that means just what you can imagine. Despite all your best preparation and plans, as soon as you step off the helicopter or as soon as you step into the mission, it's about to change. One particular time, my partner and I, an Italian astronaut, Luca, we were doing a spacewalk where water started to leak into his helmet, which is not where you want water to be out in the vacuum of space. The spacesuit engineering team never thought it was possible for water to get into the helmet. So there was no procedures, there was no script, adapting on the fly, figuring out, making decisions to get back and close the airlock. No matter what the organization is, or no matter what the mission is, or no matter what the situation is, one person doesn't have the whole picture, always. That whole picture comes from input from everybody and those folks with different views. And that's what I think makes a unit and a leader most effective, is when you can quickly integrate all of that input so that ideally everybody has the same big picture. If everyone feels that their voice is heard and listened to and truly accepted, and input from the collective team all matters. Even though the missions were different in between the SEALs and NASA, the concept of that has been the same throughout my career.
And Chris, you were telling us that you actually spent COVID in outer space.
I did. It was an amazing place to not be, amazing time to not be on the planet, right? When everybody else was wondering what the next day or two would be like. Yes. We knew what our day was like. No masks on board, no social distancing. It was just myself and two cosmonauts looking down. The interesting thing was, people often ask, what could you see different during COVID from space? It was really the same, except for this one thing. There was an absence of airplane contrails. You remember all the airplanes were not flying. Normally you see convergence of contrails going into Amsterdam and JFK and all the airports, but there was none of that in COVID. It was really fascinating.
Well, you've spent a lifetime serving our nation, Navy SEAL, astronaut, and now you're serving our nation once again as the CEO of the National Medal of Honor Museum. How does this rank for you?
Well, it's hard to put all those in order. What I love is, and I've grown into this, my 17-year-old self would have rolled his eyes at this answer, but I love feeling like I'm serving the country. And in the beginning of my military career, it was just doing fun stuff and feeling like I was the camaraderie that exists with a small unit. But then as gain maturity and experience, and you realize having an American flag on your shoulder of your uniform means something greatly. And when I was getting ready to hang up my uniform and retire from the Navy and NASA, is when I realized, and in talking to other friends who had done a military to civilian transition, is what's going to fill that void where service was.
Right.
And right about that same time is when I was exposed to the Medal of Honor Museum mission. A friend of mine connected me with it. I came up here and met Charlotte Jones, who's the chairman, and realized this project is a once-in-a-generation opportunity, and it's right at my fingertips, and I would love to be a part of it, and it all worked out, and here I am.
Yes, and you've done a great job as an ambassador telling your story to the media. I found a clip, and this is more than a year old, but you were on Fox News. Let's go ahead and roll that clip.
So tomorrow is Veterans Day as the nation recognizes our heroes on 11/11. The National Media of Honor Museum is teaming up with the NFL over the weekend. 16 Medal of Honor recipients take the field during halftime of the Giants-Cowboys game in Dallas. That game will air here on Fox. Love that. U.S. Navy Captain Chris Cassidy is president of the National Medal of Honor Museum Foundation. He joins us now. Captain, how you doing? Thank you for your service. First off, just tell us a bit about your mission, sir.
Good morning. Great to be with you guys. And as you said, today's the Marine Corps birthday. Happy birthday to my fellow Marines. Our project is to inspire Americans through the stories of the Medal of Honor. And let me just tell you, there's some amazing stories out there, and we're going to capture those stories and deliver that to the nation in a museum. Happens to be located here in Arlington, Texas, with a Leadership Institute, as well as a monument on the National Mall. We're really so proud to honor our nation's heroes in this way.
What's the best sort of common characteristic of a Medal of Honor recipient?
Well, you know what's so fascinating about Medal of Honor recipients is they're just ordinary people who did something extraordinary when the nation needed it done most. And General Pat Brady, one of our board members and Vietnam helicopter pilot, he has this quote, which I love, is every individual has endless buckets of courage you can dip into. It's just a choice of yours if you're going to do that and when. And courage comes in all different shapes and sizes. It doesn't have to be just on the battlefield. It can be in everyday life. And that's really what we want to do, is inspire people to be more courageous in their own life through these stories. And it's with generous contributions from folks like Ken Griffin, who just endowed our Leadership Institute in his name, that enable us to do that.
Yeah. I love that you're teaming up with the NFL. It's America's most popular sport by far and away. And the league's gone through some rough waters, and they've got this one. They got it right, sir.
Yeah, they sure did. And there's no better way to honor heroes than Medal of Honor recipients. You know, I love the concept that these salute to service games throughout the league, every November, every franchise. And the Cowboys have been just such wonderful partners of ours in allowing our mission to be sort of focused on the last, I think, 3 salute to service games that we've had. This year is no different. And just that partnership, the NFL's belief in the military and Medal of Honor recipients, it's just amazing. It gives me a lot of hope for us as Americans.
Well stated, Captain.
Great to see you.
Yeah, it all works. And thanks for sharing your story on Fox.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, so powerful. In the last couple minutes, I want you to talk about the look and feel. So when people come there on opening day, what will they experience?
You know, it's a really unique building design. That's what I think is going to be really special, because it'll eventually, with time, it'll be the visual beacon of the values of the Medal of Honor and Medal of Honor recipients. But what we're really proud of is that, like I said earlier, the courage, the sacrifice, the commitment, and being right next to AT&T Stadium and the Globe Life Field where the Rangers play, it's intertwined with that national TV audience that watches sports. And over time, people will understand that the middle of the country is where this thing is. And inside the museum, on the upper deck will be interactive. It'll be artifacts, of course. There'll be ways you can learn about, you can read, you can watch videos. It'll be really modern and interactive, as I said. Downstairs, we'll have a lot of event space. People can come there, have their corporate meetings. There's, of course, cafe retail, classrooms, all that, and a Leadership Institute, which we're really proud of as well.
And you said there are still 60 alive today. Do you hope some of them will come visit?
Oh, Lord, yeah, hopefully all of them. Very sadly, not all of those 60 are capable of traveling anymore, but as many as that can come, they'll be there, and we're excited to have them.
Absolutely, and I know that you work off of donations. So if somebody wanted to get involved, how do they?
Every dollar helps. They can go to our website. There's a donate button. You can also become a member if you sign up as a member now. And this year, before we open, you get that early member discount for as long as you choose to keep. It's about $120 as opposed to $200 for your family's membership. So you can sign up now.
Outstanding. Chris, thank you for your service to this country in the special way you're using your gifts. We're going to end with the website, which is mohmuseum.org. The great Chris Cassidy. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate you.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.